Okay, let's start. Well, hi everyone, and it's lovely to see you as ever this morning. Make yourself comfortable just to start with. We'll spend a few moments in sitting to arrive. And so coming into a comfortable seated position. Now, just make sure both of your sit bones are really firmly anchored downwards to the mat. And then, once you've found a comfortable position, a comfortable seat, I'd like you to then just bring your gaze down to a point in front of you. Doesn't matter whatever your eyes catch on, a bit of carpet, floor, an object. And focusing in on that point. If you then allow your gaze to soften, to go into soft focus. And as the gaze softens, you may just sense how the body relaxes a little bit. There's less effort, outward flow. And so with the gaze soft from here, if you would like to shut your eyes, feel free to do so. And you're arriving in your inner space. Now bring your awareness to your breath. And taking a position as a bystander, a witness. I'd like you to observe your body as if you were watching a stranger or someone you know from a distance. So for these few moments arriving into your Monday morning, you're letting go of a control panel, that internal need we all have to want to adjust, to shape, to form, to become. And you're observing however you find yourself. Observe how your body is sitting. How it's breathing. If your mind then floods with 101 different definitions of why this might be, just note those thoughts, but putting them aside, coming back to the raw essence of your body, the energy that makes up this flesh and bones, this architecture, skeleton, and physical form. And bringing an intention of trust this morning. Trust that your body is doing whatever it needs to do. Trust that whatever you are in this moment, time and space, is enough. We'll take 5 more rounds, conscious breath. breath that comes and goes. And then hands coming to the heart. And we open eyes. And with the eyes open again, if you'd like to just then come round and onto all fours. By the way, at any point today, if you kind of notice I've slipped out of the screen, for some reason I never seem to see myself when I'm recording anymore. So I'm never quite sure I'm actually in the camera lens. So it's a bit of guesswork going on. So do let me know if I've suddenly slipped out of view at all. That would be useful. So we're going to start coming into cat and cow this morning. Just taking a few moments to arrive with the body. Deep out breaths and allowing your spine to curve upwards, skywards. And in breaths following. And your spine lengthening. I always find cat and cow, there's such a comfort within this. I don't know about you, but my body often seems to just really kind of almost want to soak up that feeling of just gentle easing into the spine. Really allow yourself to luxuriate in the movement, in the flow of breath. And your next round of breath, and we're going to come back and onto the heels. So arms are stretched out, sitting back towards heels, arms out in front of you. Taking one more round of breath here. And coming up, back onto all fours. Tuck onto your toes now, underneath you. Just walk your knees together, so feet are together, toes tucked underneath, and start to ease back towards your heels. Arms are still stretched out in front of you. And you can bring your forehead all the way down to the floor, that's comfy. Let's just keep it lifted. And then finding your way back up, back onto all fours, feet and hands hips width, shoulder width apart. And we'll start to lift up and onto your knees now. And you'll take a big circle with your arms, breathing in, and holding the sky up with the palms of the hands. Big V shape here. And I'd like you to then rotate the spine round one way to the side. Keep the knees where they are. And then rotating the spine the other way. Back to the center line. Dropping your right arm down now. The left arm keeps lifted up. And your left arm will come over towards the right. Just let go of that right shoulder as much as you can. You can almost take the hand away from the leg a little bit. Just let it swing there. Left arm's going to come over, your right arm can lift up. Take your time to make transitions here. Right arm will come over, and again your left arm can just swing there a little bit. So really you're letting go of the body's weight. Just enjoy that opening along the right side of the body. And both right arm coming down. So you're up onto your knees now. Shrug out your shoulders a couple of times, however's going to be good for you to do so. I'm doing backwards circles this morning. One more round. And the hands coming down to the floor. Now hands arriving down to the floor, start to lift up. Going to come into a forward fold. So you'll walk your feet forward a little bit, hips width apart. And once you're there, I'd like you to catch hold of your elbow points. So left hand to right elbow, right hand to left. Now, your elbows, if you can see the tips of your elbows, draw them forward a little bit. So you're basically cradling your ears with your forearms. And your gaze is coming straight down to the floor. Now 5 rounds of breath or so here. Breath just to relax into the shape, to let go of the body's weight. To start to lift up through the backs of the legs, open up the hamstrings. And lengthening the spine, drawing the elbows towards the floor. And then releasing your arms down. Just make sure there's a bit of movement in your arms as you release them. Hands can just be hanging off the floor, elbows bent. And we're going to roll up the spine, one vertebrae at a time, the arms hanging heavy as you do so. Draw up through the legs. Draw all the way up into standing and tip your chin upwards towards the sky. Hands can come to the back of the spine now, and bringing the chin so it's level again, draw your elbow points back towards one another behind the back. Pull the chest open, root down into your feet, and lifting up and into the front of the body. Take the spine into a very gentle back bend, and make sure to lift through the base of the spine so there's space between the vertebrae. And out breath. I'd like you to hinge forward from the base of the spine, and you're arriving back into forward fold. And you can let go of the arms then and let them hang again, elbows bent to the sides. Remember, forearms, upper arms around the ears. That's it. And we're starting to roll the spine again, but this time the arms are going to get involved. And as you start to come up, the arms will then circle up above the head, and you're lifting the sky up with the palms. Out breath, hands together, arriving into the heart. Few rounds of breath just to touch base with the heart. Feeling the body in standing, your eyes can shut again, and keeping the focus very soft behind the shut eyelids. Setting your intention of trust. And as if you were opening a new doorway, allowing your eyes to open again. An in-breath, that palms will float up. Coming into a bit of movement now, a few sun salutations, breathing in. Out breath, finding your way into a forward fold. You can swallow dive or hands down the center line into Uttanasana. A breath to arrive, and then on an in-breath, hands can come to the legs, the thighs, the knees, or to the floor, offering the spine forward, the gaze soft. Creating an L shape here, keep lifting up through the belly, deep in-breath. And palms coming down, and we're going to come back and into down dog. And arriving here, bend your knees now, lift up into your sit bones. Draw your thighs up and back, heels are high. And then breathing in, as if you're coming up the crest of a wave, slowly come forward and into plank. Shoulders above your wrists. Do drop your knees down at any point if you want to take a bit of a weight off the hands. In breath, look forward. Out breath, we're lowering down, so either knees down, that version, onto all fours, lowering down, or lowering the body down from plank to the floor. Feet are flat, hands underneath the shoulders. In breath, into cobra. Now we're going to come into down dog. If you want to work a bit more upper body here, feet tucked underneath, start to lift up the legs, start to ease up and back into down dog. And bending your knees again. Your heels are high, thighs lifting up and back. Just watch yourself breathing the next round of breath. And we're going to start bringing the feet forward. In breath, soft gaze, look forward. And out breath, the feet coming up towards the hands, and you're folding down the length of the legs. A big in breath will see you coming up to rise, breathing in. Lift up the sky with the palms, and out breath back and to the heart. Okay, another in breath, a big circle through the arms, breathing in. With your out breath, arriving in Uttanasana, into forward fold. Breathe all the way out to the end of that out breath. When you find a new breath, offering your spine, looking forward, but keep the gaze soft. Out breath, palms down, down dog, heels are high. Now from here into plank, one way or another, either knees down or onto all fours if you prefer, or in breath, coming forward, arriving in plank. Look forward, breathe in. Find your way down to the floor, keep the body stable as you arrive, down onto the belly. A big in breath to cobra. An out breath, start to lift up and back into down dog. Down dog twists now. Right hand comes up to the top of the left thigh. Slide it down so you're looking out underneath the left armpit. And bringing the right hand back to the floor. Onto the other side, left hand, top of the right thigh, slide it down. Looking out underneath the right armpit. And bringing left hand back down. Now coming back onto all fours. And find your way straight away into cat and cow. We'll take one more round here. And then from there, toes tucking under, and you're lifting up and back into your down dog again. Now keep the heels high again, put a bit of bend in the knees so you can really draw up into your thighs. Lift them up and back. And your gaze can come between the legs, out into the space behind you. In breath, soften your gaze as you look forward. And out breath, feet coming up to the top of the mat, up towards the hands. Breathe in, offer your spine. And out breath, folding down the length of the legs again, you're into forward fold. And a big in-breath, start to roll up your spine. Take time to stack the vertebrae. The arms will float up. And you'll just pause there, palms above the head. Hold up the sky into that V. And out breath, hands back and into the heart. Well done. Just reaching down now to grab your belt. If you take the belt, hold it quite firmly, just a little bit more, or more or less the same as shoulders width. And breathing in, we'll lift the belt up over our head. Now root down into your feet as you do this, belly to spine. The gaze can come up. Another round of breath. Widen out the belt, hold of the belt a little bit more. And then you're easing back again the arms, not going over the head here, we're just opening out the chest. Really stabilize your feet, belly to spine. One more round of breath, open out the belt a little bit further, and just sliding the arms over the back of the spine down behind you. Now you will probably want to bend elbows, there's always that temptation to just kind of work with where the arms, shoulders are today. I'm going to be grimacing a little bit, those kettlebells are not my friend at the moment with the shoulders. Belly to spine, in breath, arms floating up and taking them over. There's always that point, isn't it, where the face wants to kind of pull a grimace a little bit. We're going to do a few rounds here. So just work with your own breath now. Remember you're watching the breath. Watch your reactions, a bit like you're watching a stranger or a good friend. I think a good friend's actually a nicer analogy. Put a little bit of kindness into it. So you listen to the body and the stories it's telling you. Another in-breath. Another in-breath, lift up and over. And we bring the belt down. shake out into your fingertips, a really good shake. And then bending the knees. Keep shaking. Belly to spine. Sit down deep in your chair. And then letting the arms hang heavy. Nice long orangutan arms. Coming into twist, the left arm will swing around to the right hand side. You can just kind of take the arms around. The arms can just kind of touch the sides of the body. So you're swinging them around and kind of wrapping them around yourself. Put a bit of vigor into it. If you're in a Turkish bath, this would be the equivalent of that masseuse kind of doing that jing, 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 jing kind of thing on your back. Really wake up the body a little bit doing this. Slow it down. And coming back into chair, belly to spine, sink down a little bit deeper. In breath, start to lift the sky up with the palms of the hands. Sit deep in your chair. Belly to spine. And out breath, folding down the center line. You're arriving back and into forward fold. Arriving up again into standing, and in breath, palms over the head. And out breath, palms coming back to the center line. So reaching round for the belt now again. And we're just going to bring the belt or your strap just over the ball of the foot. So you've lifted up your right knee a little bit and the belt is on the ball of the foot underneath it. Whoa, I'm going to fall over. Okay. Find a comfortable stance. Using both hands around the belt, we're going to start to lift this right leg a little bit, just off the floor. Now, you don't need to have to straighten the leg. If you do want to, that's all good. But just putting a little bit of bend of the knee and use the weight of the belt around the foot to really stabilize the body. Do put a bit of bend into that right knee if it helps to stabilize the balance. Release the belt off the right foot. Arriving back down. And we do the same on the other side. Belt around the ball of the left foot. Stabilize your balance. You can just lift the foot a fraction off the floor. You don't have to feel you've got to straighten out through the leg at all. Maybe one side feels a little bit different from the other. Belly to spine. Keep breathing. Lovely. And releasing out. Right, just drop the belt down now for a moment. In breath, right arm floating up and over the head. Stretching out the entire right side of the body. Bringing the right hand all the way down and start to point your right foot so it's facing towards the short edge of your mat. Bend your right knee, reach down with that right hand. You may need to step the left foot back a bit, bringing your right hand down to the floor. Lift up the left leg, so you're balancing on the right leg. You're in half moon. Left hand on the left hip. Keep the left foot flexed here. Another breath. And you're bringing that left foot all the way down to the floor. Start to lift back up into standing. You've got your right foot still facing forward. Lovely. And rotating your right foot so it's now parallel again with the left foot. So you've got quite a wide stance of the feet facing forward. In breath, look up. And out breath, hinging forwards into forward fold. With a semi-wide leg, forward fold. Fingertips to the floor. Now bend your knees a little bit here and turn your toes out. You're still wide leg stance, but not too wide. Start to lift up, hands on the knees. So you feel really nice and strong, a bit like a sumo wrestler might before they kind of go into a fight. Now, in breath, take your gaze over to your right shoulder, nice swooping movement. Look over that right shoulder for a second. Then swinging the trunk of the body over towards the left. Look over the left. Another in-breath to lift over to the right, to the left. Again back over. It's like you're swinging your tail here. Do a few more. One more. Coming back into your center line again. Knees are still bent. Feet are below the knees more or less, and the knees are a little bit wide apart. You're going to feel that kind of burning away along the inner edge of the thighs. Big in-breath, palms above the head. Hold up the sky now. Really feeling the polarity between sky and earth. And out breath, soften everything, the gaze soft. Hands coming back to the heart. Legs straightening. So turning your left foot to point the opposite way towards the short end of your mat. In breath, the arms are going to float up. Out breath, right hand's going to float down. And we come into the side stretch, taking the left arm over towards the right to start with. And then you're reaching out with that left hand down towards the floor. Bend the left knee a little bit to bring that left hand down towards the floor. Do use blocks and stuff here if it's helpful to bring the hands onto something. And then you're starting to lift up your right leg. Right hand is on the hip. It will really help to get the lift, keeping the hand on the hip. Flex the right foot. Few breaths in, half moon. Root into that left leg, bend the knee a little bit to get the leverage up. One more round of breath. And slowly planting the right foot back down. Feel it arrive. Swing your hands into the center line and rotate both feet back in now so they're parallel with one another. Now we're going to heel toe walk out the feet a bit. So toes will point out, the heels will follow. Your feet are a bit wider now. You may want to do that one more time. Take your stance. In breath, look forward, off your spine. And out breath, folding the spine down between the feet. And you're coming into a wide-legged forward fold. Another round of breath here. Then in breath, looking forward again. of your spine. Walk your heels back in a little bit if you need to. And we'll have the toes pointing out away from one another to come up. In breath, you're rising up, you're back into goddess stance, knees bent, sit deep, lift up the sky again. And sink down into the seat. It's a strong pose, I know, very strong it can be. Just feel your foundations here, but keep the lift up through the spine. Feel the sky with the fingertips. Observing your breath. And out breath, straightening the legs. Hands on the hips. Turn your toes over now, parallel with one another. Lovely. And then we rotate your right foot so it's facing outwards. It's facing towards the short edge of the mat, away from you. In breath, arms floating out either sides of the body. Out breath, lunge forward on that back front knee. May need to widen your stance a little bit to get a bit of space between the legs. See if you can bring the knee so it's over your ankle. Just might want to turn in a little bit. Can you ease it out if so? And really ground your back foot. Put the body's weight into the back foot. Arms floating up. Now, I love using the mudras here with this. It just helps to keep things soft. Index finger to the thumb or the third finger to the thumb. We're going to bring that left arm over towards the right arm and softly pull it back again, like you're drawing a bow. You can do that again. In breath. Left arm will come over towards the right. Draw it back again. Keep the feet grounded. One more time. Keep that softness of dialogue with the body. Lovely. Palms turning up. Breathe in. Palms lift up. And breathing out. Sorry, got to do it one more time. Bend that right knee. The right hand's coming down again. Left hand is up. Plant the foot on the floor. Now do bring this left hand down to the waist if you find it helps to get the leverage. Coming up into half moon again. Left leg lifting up. Hand on the hip is a really useful way to work this though. Just to get the lift up of that back leg. Few rounds of breath. And slowly planting left foot back down. Well done. Lift your body back up into standing. Rotate your right foot in. And the left foot pointing out the opposite way. Both arms lifting up to the sides of the body. May need to shuffle feet apart again as you lunge forward on that front knee. Just check the alignment of the left knee now. Straight over the ankle. Just ease it out with your hand if you need to get that kind of right angling. Use a mudra if you'd like one and anchor your back foot. In breath, the right arm's floating over. Must say this is so good for my shoulders. I don't know why. Right shoulder's complaining a little bit at the moment. I think it's using those kettlebells. It's not used to it. Keep going with the softness. Both arms out. Another in breath, another out. Let the movement follow your breath. And after 3 rounds or so again, just realign that front knee if you need to. Arms out either sides, turn the palms up. Big in-breath, lift up the sky. Now your front knee is already bent. Right arm can stay up or bring it to the hip. Start to reach forward with the left arm. Plant it down. Then right hand on the hip or up in the air. And we're lifting up the right leg. Really anchor that left foot to the floor. One more round of breath. And the right hand will come down. We're coming into down dog. Right foot, step it back. Left foot, step it back. Writhing down dog. Your heels are high. We'll take a few more rounds of breath here. And you'll come down onto all fours. And arriving on all fours, a few resting breaths coming back into child. Sitting back on the heels. Forehead to the floor. Letting the body go as heavy as it likes to. Really let go of your body's weight. Next couple of breaths. Then in breath, slowly finding your way up and into sitting again. And we'll take the arms out, sorry, not the arms, the legs out to the front of you. You're riding into sitting. Shuffle the sit bones around, lifting flesh either side so you feel anchored in on your sit bones. In breath, your arms floating up. Turn the palms skywards when you arrive. And the gaze can follow up towards the sky. Out breath, bring the hands down towards the legs. Hands to feet, to legs. In breath, offer the spine forward. And then out breath, letting the spine float down. It may just be a feeling of floating down here. If the spine's feeling a bit tight or the backs of the legs are feeling a bit tight. Cultivating a sense of ease here, a lovely quality of sukha, ease, wellness within the body. So again, you're letting go of the control panel really here, not needing your body to arrive in a particular shape or a feeling of a shape. Just trusting that wherever you are, whatever you're feeling is enough. And in breath, we're coming back and into sitting. So coming into a twist now, so many versions of a twist and seated. I'm going to bring my right foot over the left leg. So I'm just planting it to the outer edge of the left leg. If that feels uncomfortable, you can just bring it to the side of the inner edge of the left leg. So either or, crossing it over to the side, whilst both legs still out in front. Now, if you've got the knee bent, you can hug in that knee towards your core with your left arm. With your right arm, lifting it up and into a circle, that will just help to show you if you feel the balance through the sit bones. You want them to take the body's weight rather than the right arm. All come down to the floor. Breathe in and lift. Breathing out, coming into twist. And with the gaze soft, last off, you're looking out towards that right shoulder in your peripheral vision. Another round of breath, come back to the center line. And then taking the right foot, and we're going to plant it now into the inner edge of your left thigh. And bring it as close up to the pelvis or down towards the knee. Just make sure you've got some padding under that right knee if you need so. Now rotate your pelvis around so it's facing towards the left leg. In breath, arms floating up. And out breath, both arms are reaching out towards the little toe edge of that left foot. So just out to the side. Once you've got there, walking the hands around on the fingertips, out towards the left. So you're coming into a twist here, away from the leg. And then you'll bring your spine back to the center line. And you're lifting it up to sitting. Stretch out your right leg, so both legs are together. Hands can be on the knees on the floor. I'd like you to just spiral your spine in a clockwise direction. And then we're going to lift the left leg up and over the right. So either it's coming to the side of the right leg, else you're crossing it over, whilst keeping both legs stretched out in front of you. Wherever you are there, if you've got the knee bent, hug it in, that left knee in, as closely as you can to the core. In breath, the left arm will lift up. That will help to anchor sit bones, and you'll take it out behind you, taking you into twist. And then bringing the gaze back to the feet and taking your left foot into the right thigh. Anchor it into the right thigh. And you're rotating the trunk so it's facing towards the right leg. In breath, the arms floating up again. And out breath, you're reaching down towards the little toe edge of that front foot. Once you've got there, you're walking the hands out to the sides of the body. Just keep watching the body as you would a friend. And then bringing the gaze back towards your right foot. The left leg can stretch out. Hands on the knees. And we're going to spiral the spine, this time in an anti-clockwise direction. Now we're going to come into Supta Baddha Konasana now, which is lying down butterfly, using the belt if you've got one to hand and it's long enough. It's useful if you can. I mean, you don't have to here. You can kind of improvise with this. I've got a loop through my belt, yeah? I just kind of made a loop at the end of the belt. It's like a Blue Peter program, this bit is. Okay, so soles of the feet are going to come together. You're just in kind of upright butterfly here. I'm going to bring my belt underneath my feet. Just resting underneath, and the loop of this belt is over to the left-hand side. Yeah. Now, bringing the belt over the inner shin and the inner thigh of your right leg. You can see it just in a nice line around you. Take that belt around the back of your pelvis. It's coming out to the other side. Help that knock belt there. And then take the belt over the inner thigh of the left leg, the inner shin of the left leg as well. Just come back to join this loop. Once you're there, you can thread the belt into the loop. So you're pulling the loose end back towards you and you're tightening it. So now you're all tied up in knots. Oh, I should have made sure I was a little bit more in the camera line here. I'm going to wiggle forward a little bit. Okay, from here we're going to come down onto the spine. So use your elbows to release down. And you're going to come into lying down. Legs in a butterfly. Excuse me while I wiggle forward again. Legs in a butterfly, and you're pulling back on that belt just to give you a little bit of tension in the belt. So you can just use that to help the hips to open a bit more. We're going to take a few rounds of breath here. Your hands can be wherever you want them to be. They could be on the body, up above the head, in kind of C shape, just resting by the sides of the body, whatever feels right. In the next few minutes, you're allowing your body now to find rest. To find rest, ease, and whatever sensation you're feeling. So easy when a sensation is quite intense, and this one can be a little bit with the opening of hips and tightness in hips, opening across the chest. And it's so easy to react against those sensations, to react against ourselves in a sense, because we can't escape from the body. We are living within this architecture. So keep trusting, keeping that inner gaze of friendship towards the body. Allowing yourself to feel whatever you're feeling, and knowing that is enough. We all kind of labour in a way sometimes under this kind of misconception that we want to feel one sensation over another. That can so permeate the flow of our lives. It's better to feel one thing than another. It reminds you of that beautiful Rumi poem, welcoming into your body every sensation as you would welcome a friend. We're going to unravel now from this, so take your time. First of all, release out the belt. And draw your knees back together. Take the belt out from underneath you. When you kind of untidy yourself, just flip it over to the side. Before you come into Shavasana, you may want to just hug your knees into the chairs. And just take a few gentle rocks from one side to the other. And bring your feet down to the floor. And then from there you can stretch the legs out. Palms turning up to either sides of the body, and you're arriving into Shavasana. Now make any adjustments that you need to in lying down. And a few moments of rest. If you'd like to extend your Shavasana, then do feel free just to carry on lying for a few more moments. Otherwise, bring in awareness to your surroundings, the sounds within them, the feeling of contact with earth. touch of air upon skin. Breathing into the heart. Like a light, lights up the darkest places, trusting and knowing the heart light, guiding the body forwards through this light. Couple of deep rounds of breath, and then when you're ready to move, starting to move fingers together, thumbs over fingertips, toes from side to side, and then bending knees, you roll over to the side of the body, and we'll take a few resting breaths there. And finding your way up and into sitting. Arriving in sitting, sitting tall, a few rounds of breath. And palms can lift to heart. And palms at the heart, touching the body, touching your intention of trust. And bowing forwards towards the heart. And when you're ready to, closing your practice, coming up into sitting. Thank you. Here we go forward.